It's the GIS Professor here to show you how to source secondary data for ArcMap Online. So there are many good sources of data, and one of my favourites is freegisdata.rtwilson.com. It's got a whole range of datasets and it's particularly good for geography. And if you go into the top, you can click country specific and narrow it down to the UK. Take your time and have a look through this page. There's data on everything, including oceanography, weather and climate, energy, geology, population, anything you want really. Here I've clicked ecology, then clicked onto Natural England's website. In here, I then just type in SSI, so special sites of scientific interest, easy for me to say. Click on that, and then click the download button on the left, and it gives you a range of options of how to download it, and I'd recommend downloading it in as a shapefile. If you get any errors when adding the data into the map, please skip to the adding data through my content section later in the video. Another good data source is the open data from the government. It gives a wide range of data sets on different topics, and you can click into each category and do searches to find what data there is. But in particular, my favourite is the environmental side of things. So if you go onto Google and type environment open data, you'll find this page. In this example, on this page, I've typed in flood risk. I found flood zone 3, and I've gone to click the download button. And then on the right, you can see you can choose to download it as a shapefile. And then you can add it into your map via the add file button, or you can go into my content and drag it into there. This was covered in the previous video. Probably the easiest source of data is the living atlas that can be found on ArcMap Online. You click the add button, then browse living atlas layer. And from here you can do a search for the dataset you want. In this example, I'm going to look for flood zone data. You can see it's done by Esri UK, and if you click the plus button, it will add into the map with nothing else that you need to do. To make this map special, I'll be adding another secondary dataset in from a website called geofabrik.de. What this website does is allow you to download large amounts of data from OpenStreetMap that they have collated, and it has really good information. It has locations of buildings such as schools, pubs, takeaways, places of worship, as well as shapefiles showing infrastructure, river networks, and many more things. In this example, I'm going to show you how to add school data, and we'll be able to see which schools are in the flood zone in Sheerness and which ones are not. If you go ahead and click the sub-region you want, so in this case I'm going to click Kent under the shapefile column, and this will download all of the data into one zip file. The first thing to do is open up your downloads, right click on it, and then click extract all so we can extract the zip file. Then double click on the unzipped file and you'll see multiple different datasets within here. I'll leave a link in the description below that describes each of the datasets so you can find exactly what you want. The one I use most commonly is the point of interest shapefile. You can see this is abbreviated in its name POIS. The shapefile is made up of 5 different components. Highlight all 5 of these, right click and click compress to zip file. Do this process for whatever dataset you want. If it's the railways, the roads, the traffic dataset, it's the same process. This zip file is too big to add directly into ArcMap Online, so what you have to do is click the home button, click content, and you'll have to add via this route. Go ahead and find your zip file and then just drag it into the screen. You'll want to add this as a hosted layer which is already selected, so just click next. Then here you can add a title, add any tags and a summary. This can make the dataset easy to find if you've got multiple layers already on your system. Click save when you are done. You've now created your layer. It can take a while to load and publish the service. Now click open in Map Viewer Classic, and after a few seconds the data will load into your map. As you can see, because on the Geofabrik website we did click Kent, this is all the data within Kent. You can download the data for the whole UK at the same time, however it's a really big file and I don't recommend doing this. On the left you can use unique symbols, which means it will give a different colour for every single type of building. So in the bottom left you can see it says Aldi, Londis, Boots, all of them will have a different colour, but I don't recommend doing this at this stage. What we will be doing is going into the dataset, filtering out everything except schools. So we'll click the location single symbol button, which just gives everything the same colour. As you can see, I'm clicking the data to see what we have around Sheerness, and we have a golf course, a chalet, a school, and obviously for our final map we're not going to want all this data, we only want the school data, so we'll filter down to that. Go ahead and click done, and then you'll see the OSM point of interest data on the left. If you click the table button, it'll bring up the table of all the data, and you can drag this up so you can go in and have a look at greater detail. If you take a look at the column description, you can see the two main ones are the F class, which shows whether it's a pub, a guest house, a school, and then the name of the individual building. So you can see Lennon Primary School. In this instance, we want to filter the data down to schools, so we'll remember that the school's description was in the F class field. This is important to remember for the filtering process that will take place in a second. So go back to the OSM point of interest data on the left and click the button as a picture of a filter in a folder. If you remember, we wanted to filter by F class, so go to the drop down box on the left and click it, and then click on F class. If we click the unique button here, it will populate the field with all possible entries. I recommend doing it this way, as if you type your filter in manually, you could misspell words, and if you do, the filter won't work. The filter will now say F class is schools, so only data that has the word school in will be left. Now click apply filter. Go ahead and click on one of the shapefiles, and you'll find that only schools have been left on the page. That's it for this session, but you should now know how to add primary data, secondary data, and if you want to follow on and finish this map off by changing symbology, creating labels, and exporting the map into a finished product, please click on the next video. If you would like to see more videos like this, please comment below with suggestions of what you'd like to see, and also click the subscribe button to help the channel.